Hey, what's up YouTube? Saf here on Super Saf TV, and this is my hands-on comparison and review of the new Google Nexus 7 to the original Google Nexus 7. Now, the original Google Nexus 7 was the most popular Android tablet of 2012, and the new Google Nexus 7 is very likely to be the most popular Android tablet of 2013. But how did these two compare? What's different? What's new? And is it worth upgrading from the original to the new version? Well, do hit that thumbs up button and let's find out. Starting off with the size, design and build, the new Nexus 7 is quite a bit smaller than the original, 6mm in width, almost 2mm in thickness, and also 50 grams lighter, and it's definitely easier to hold in one hand and feels a lot more compact. It is however slightly taller than the original, 1.5mm, nothing much, and you do have that thick bezel on the top and bottom. Personally, I don't mind it too much because it gives your thumbs somewhere to rest when you're using the tablet in landscape mode. And speaking of landscape, the logo on the back of the device is now in landscape format compared to the portrait format on the original, which would suggest that the new Google Nexus 7 is more intended to use in landscape mode. Now, we've lost that dotted texture on the back, which was on the original Nexus 7. I personally did like it. It did give it a little bit more grip, but the new Nexus 7 still has a soft touch grip and overall looks more sleek and premium, I would say. Now, the screen size and resolution, as the name suggests, both of these have a 7-inch screen. The original Nexus 7 a 1280 by 800 resolution, 216 ppi. Not bad at all, and it still has a much better ppi compared to many of the tablets out there. For example, the iPad mini, which has just 162 ppi. The new Nexus 7 has that amazing screen, 1920 by 1200 HD display, 323 ppi pixel density. Now, this is the highest ppi of any tablet out there, much higher than the iPad 4th generation Retina, which is 264 ppi, and also higher than its bigger brother, the Nexus 10, which has 300 ppi. It also has 30% wider range of colours than the original Nexus 7. And is the difference noticeable? Well, yes, the original Nexus has a nice screen, but the Nexus 7 is just that much better. Images, text and especially HD video look absolutely amazing on this screen. The best screen that I've seen on a tablet so far, and it's definitely one of the key features of this tablet. Now, in terms of the specs and performance, the original Nexus 7 quad-core 1.2 GHz processor, NVIDIA Tegra 3, ULP GeForce GPU, 1GB of RAM. It was initially available in the 8 and 16GB Wi-Fi only versions. Then we had the 16 and 32GB versions, and then you also had a 32GB Wi-Fi plus 3G version. And initially it was quite a nice performer, although it did start to lag over time. The new Nexus 7 has a quad-core 1.5 GHz Snapdragon S4 Pro processor, Adreno 320 GPU, 2GB of RAM, and is currently available in the 16 and 32GB Wi-Fi only versions, and also a 32GB Wi-Fi and 4G LTE version will be coming soon. So much better internals, and the new Nexus 7 does perform better, and benchmarks are much higher as expected. Now, although for general tasks you may not notice a huge deal of difference, the new Nexus 7 I found was much quicker on pretty much everything, especially for demanding apps and multitasking, and generally when using the tablet, the new Nexus 7 was so much more snappy and smooth. Now, both of these have a 1.2 megapixel 720p HD front-facing camera. Similar in quality, I was expecting to be slightly better, but very similar in quality, not a huge deal of difference here. But one thing that the new Nexus 7 has, which the original does not, is a rear-facing camera. You've got a 5 megapixel camera capable of filming 1080p HD. Pretty standard really, nothing special, and personally I don't really use a rear-facing camera on a tablet, so I would have preferred if they left this out altogether and kept the price slightly low, but that's just me. I'm sure it will be welcomed by many. Now, both of these have the latest version of Android Jelly Bean 4.3, and it comes with all of the new features such as restricted profiles, daydream, expandable and actionable notifications. And that is the big advantage you have of going with a Nexus. You'll be getting the latest updates directly from Google, which is a big advantage for both of these devices. Now, the original Nexus 7 does have a higher milliamp battery, 4325 versus the 3950 milliamp battery that the new Nexus 7 has. Now, in my experience, from what I can remember of the original Nexus 7, the new Nexus 7 performed slightly better. I got roughly about 7 to 8 hours usage of it, so it will get you through the day, and it's also great on standby, it doesn't lose much power at all. Now, the new Nexus 7 does have some other additions. You've got Slimport HDMI support, so you can connect the new Nexus 7 via Slimport HDMI to your screen and mirror on the screen what's on the tablet, which is pretty useful. The original Nexus 7 did not have this. The original Nexus 7 also has a single mono speaker, which is okay, average, but the new Nexus 7 has the dual stereo speakers with surround sound, and they are definitely much louder and produce more rich sound. The new Nexus 7 also has wireless charging, which the original does not have. I personally don't have a wireless charging dock, so I couldn't test this out myself. Now the price of the new Nexus 7 16GB version is £199 or $229 in the US. Now although this may seem higher than the price of the original Nexus 7, if you consider when the original Nexus 7 was released, the 16GB version was similarly priced. So the new Nexus 7 without a doubt is still a very good price tablet. So that was my comparison and review of the new Nexus 7. It's definitely a great tablet and that display is absolutely awesome, definitely one of its key features. Now to answer the question whether it's worth upgrading from the original to the new version, well let me put it this way, the original is still a pretty decent tablet and it does have the latest version of Android, so you are going to be able to take advantage of the new software features. But if you do want to take advantage of the new hardware features that the new version offers, then it's definitely worth an upgrade. It might be worth selling the original and going over to the new version. But if you are currently happy with the original, then it might be worth holding on to it for a little bit longer. In my personal opinion, the new Google Nexus 7 is the best tablet out there at the moment, and I know a lot of you will be waiting around for the new iPad mini, which is more than likely to be released later this year, which is absolutely fine. But do bear in mind that the base version of the iPad mini will be at least $100 or more in price compared to the base version of the new Google Nexus 7. What are your thoughts on the new Nexus 7? Will you be getting it? Will you be upgrading from the previous Nexus 7, or will you be waiting for the iPad mini? Well, do drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, as always, please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And why not subscribe to the channel? I've got plenty more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time. If you want to see more regular videos like this one, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, which will be below. If you're on a mobile device, it may be somewhere else. If you want to see my previous related video, then hit the link right here. If you want to stay in touch over Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, then all of the addresses will be there somewhere, as well as direct links in the description below. If you're still watching, then that means you've not done one of those things, so no. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna go downstairs. See. Okay, there isn't really a downstairs. Anyway, so yeah.